Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video, and I will be sharing with you how I personally use my bullet journal for school. So I am in my second year of university and I've been doing this for the past 2 years and it's working really well for me. So I decided to share it with you all. So let's get started. So this method begins every semester, where I start by writing out all of the dates and tests and events for the entire 4 months ahead. So normally in the first week of school, when I get all of the syllabi for each class, I start by creating a master list to make it easy to refer to it. So I begin by taking 4 pages of my bullet journal and just writing out the 4 months. So in this case I have January, February, March, and April. For a lot of my school-related bullet journaling, I like to use my Mildliners. I think they're perfect with the 2 different tips on them, and then I can easily highlight things and also write titles and stuff with that. So I'm going to use a fine liner for the next part, and pretty much I'm going to just add some extra little details to the title. This is completely optional, but I like to do it because I think it makes it pop a little bit more. So I'm just adding a simple black drop shadow with the fine liner here. And onto the more substantial part of the setup, I'm going to be writing the dates for every single month vertically on each of the pages. So for example, January has 31 days, so I wrote the numbers 1 to 31 on the side, giving a 1 square or 1 dot grid spacing for each day of the month. And next I'm pulling out another color of my mild liner. I'm just using this light blue over here, and I'm just highlighting the different weeks to indicate which is the weekends and which are the school days for the week. So I just do this where I'm highlighting the days that I'm in school and then keeping the weekends blank. To make it a little bit more obvious which are the dates and which are the due dates for things, I'm just using a yellow marker and a ruler just to put a line vertically down the page. So the next thing that I'm going to do is use all of the syllabi for my classes to write in all of my due dates, test dates, and other important things that I need to know. So normally this gets done from the first few days of classes when each class I receive a syllabus. So I am just writing a simple little key at the bottom of the 5 classes. These aren't actually the classes that I'm in because I haven't received the syllabi for them yet. So I'm just color coding everything to make it a little bit easier to read and quickly find which days correspond with different subjects. So I'm just going through using the syllabus for each class and going through and putting all of those dates in one at a time. So after I complete one subject, I then move on to the next, just to keep things a little bit more orderly when I create this. After going through and finding all of the tests and due dates for one subject, I'm just using the corresponding Mildliner to highlight that, just to make it easy to pull out of my master list. So I am continuing to do this for all of my different subjects. And here's the final look at the master list of all of the important events, due dates, and tests for all of the different classes. So making one of these master lists is something that I do every semester, but every month I do another thing to transfer all of those things that I made prior into my monthly calendar. So pretty much if you've watched any of my bullet journaling videos, you have probably seen me make these calendars similar to this. So pretty much after creating them, I go back into my master list for all of my important dates and I transfer them into my monthly calendar. This way I can easily see what is up for me in the month and what's due and tests and stuff that are coming up so I can better prepare for them. And by doing this, I'm also adding in other events that are not school related, such as working or trips and stuff like that. And here I am color coding which are the school related ones and which are not. So every week, usually the Sunday night before the week begins, I like to take my monthly calendar and transfer the specific dates for that certain week into my weekly spreads. So usually my weekly spreads look similar to this. It changes and varies from week to week, but it's usually pretty consistent. So I'm just adding those main tests and events in, but I'm also adding in some less important things, like if I have a consistent practice for a sport every week, then I also add that in, but it's not as important as like having it in the calendar. And I usually have an event section where I can just summarize all of the main things going on for that week. And here's a look at what my weekly spread looks like usually the night before Monday, so Sunday night, before I start adding in even more specific to-do lists and things like that. So now moving on to what I do on the daily, which is making daily to-do lists. So I usually like to do this the night before. I think it helps me to know what's going on right when I wake up in the morning, and then it also kind of inspires me to really be productive for the next day. So I like to think the night before on what I have completed, what are things that I absolutely have to do the next day, and what I need to do to continue to work ahead for each of my classes. So I like to make sure that I have my priorities first, or kind of in the order of the day that I want to complete them. So this includes workouts, the classes that I'm going to, and other things that even aren't school related. Sometimes for a little bit of a change, I realize this is not really bullet journaling, but I like to write my daily to-do lists on sticky notes and put them right on my computer. This way I can see it at all times, and it keeps me motivated and keeps me working through my to-do list of things that I need to get done for the day. So I sometimes do this. It really depends on the day, and sometimes I like to do both, just so during the day I have a constant reminder on my computer of things I need to get done, but then also at the end of the day when I go back to my bullet journal, I can look at all of the things that I have completed, and then seeing it in my bullet journal can help me plan for the next day. So here I am just putting it on my computer. I like to have this as a constant reminder while I work through my to-do list for the day. So when making these to-do lists, I like to be as specific as possible. So if I need to study for psych, I don't just want to write study for psych in my to-do list, because that is super broad and I don't know what that really means. So for example, here on my to-do list, I have finish my psych Quizlet. So that is a super specific goal that I can do. So I know once I finish my psych Quizlet, I can check that off of my to-do list. So those are all of the steps I take to stay organized in school and make sure that I have all of my dates in the right place and I am organized and on top of all my schoolwork. So here is this handy little chart that I created. So pretty much when using this method, you're always referring to the thing below it on this little hierarchy. So when you're making your monthly setups in your calendar, you're referring to your master semester list of all of your due dates and tests for the entire month. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye!